This week on Scotty's Garage, we're going to fit a turbo to our budget Falcon. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Before we get too deep into today's episode, let's just remind everyone it is the last day of our Christmas sale. That's right, we got 10% off everything in the Scotty's Garage store. It's been running for a couple of weeks now, but you need to jump on there, last chance today, so you can get your orders in so we can get it out to you before Christmas, because this time of the year Australia Post is absolutely slammed. So we want to make sure we get it in the post early, get it out to you so you can get it under the tree for the big day. But in the meantime, we need to fit this turbocharger to our AU Falcon. You know the story. We're trying to make this thing run 12s for less than $2,000. And to make this happen, we've got this Max Peating Rods turbocharger. It is a GT35 sort of spec turbo. They reckon they're good for about 600 horsepower. We're going to test that theory. Hopefully it will make the numbers, but we need to put this on that. And the way we're going to do it is going to surprise a few people. So when I originally come up with the plan for 12s for 2K, the idea was to use a J-pipe to get a turbo onto our Falcon. And if you've never heard of a J-pipe, basically it means incorporating the normal exhaust manifold on your car, which usually points the exhaust downwards. Well, to get a turbo on there, you're going to have to fashion a pipe coming off the exhaust manifold and up to the turbo, and it is generally shaped in a J form. So you would come up to the turbo, run a wastegate off that, and it generally is the cheapest way of fitting a turbocharger to a non-turbocharged vehicle using the standard manifold. But I think I might go a different way, because that kind of looks untidy. There's a fair bit of fabrication involved, and I'm not scared of that, but it generally looks pretty untidy. I haven't seen very neat J-pipe setups, so I'm going to use this BABF turbo manifold. And I know what you're thinking, that doesn't bolt to that. You are correct, right? They use a different flange pattern for the AU to the BA and BF. I don't know why they did that, probably did it on purpose so people didn't go whacking turbos on AU Falcons, but yep, Ford decided to do that. The beauty is this turbo will bolt directly to that flange. They both run a T3 flange, that's good. But I have something that will adapt that to that. So the other day I got this cool little package from the guys at 6 Boost. Actually, I'll move that out of the way so we can see what we're looking at. Grab our pocket knife and open her up. So for those that don't know, Kyle from 6 Boost actually got his start with single wave red cam Falcons. He had a very quick EA way back in the early 2000s, and so he is very partial to the old single cams. He's obviously moved on with his racing program a lot these days. He's racing very fast radial cars, and 6 Boost is pumping out very good quality turbo manifolds. But I noticed on their website the other day that they made an adapter plate, look at that, that bolts to an AU Falcon, and yet you can bolt the BABF turbo manifold to that. How good is that? That's beautiful. So the 6 Boost adapter plate is 12mm thick and ready to go straight out of the box. You know, it is a well-made piece. Holes are all beautifully cut. These exhaust ports are all chamfered for the slight mismatch in the ports between the AU and the BABF. And then you'll be bolting it to the head using this lower row of holes and then this top row of stepped holes. And it comes with all the hardware, $190 for the whole kit, which is amazing, I think. That is such a well-made piece. And for $190 you can bolt turbo manifold to your car. So we're going to use the BABF style manifold because they are pretty cheap. They made a lot of them and they're not kind of recognized as the best manifold. If you want to use an FG manifold, that will also bolt to this. FG manifolds flow a lot better and they are worth a lot more money. We actually have one of them here as well to show you, but we're not going to be using that on the car. One of these can be had for $200 to $300. An FG manifold, you're looking minimum sort of $700. You might find one for $500 if you're really lucky, but you know. So I'm going to say $200 for this, $190 for that, so $390, and we get a turbo on our car. Now you may say $390 is a lot to spend to put the turbo on, but I think it's going to work in our budget. And if it doesn't, then maybe we will have to revert to a J-pipe. I don't really want to go down that road. I would prefer to use this because I think it's going to look a lot better at the end. But let's go with this to start off with. And if we have to sacrifice it later on, so be it, but we'll see. All right, let's get this on the car so we can get the turbo on the car. Right, well, let's get this party started. Come on, up we go. Exhaust manifold. Right, so to kick things off, we've got to remove our exhaust manifold, which means we need to remove the cover off the exhaust manifold first. So let's do that. Oops, get on there. Okay. Very goodly. All right, that's good stuff. Before we go too much further, I'm going to have to undo our O2 sensor and also remove the catalytic converter. O2 sensor is going to be pretty simple. That's not going to be too bad, but the cat, that's going to be a real pain in the nuggets, I think. Yeah, it's not going to be fun at all. All right, let's do the O2 sensor first then. So we unplug that from there. Should put this one in my car. I think my O2 sensor's a bit, how you going? Oh, it's definitely there. Safe and sound. Now for the rest of the manifold bolts. Let's go with the hard ones first. Well, I've got to say, I didn't expect that to happen. Kissed on the dick by a fairy. Oh, that is really good. Off in one piece. No bolts broken off, which for a car with 400,000 Ks on the clock, it's pretty bloody amazing. I am so happy right now, I've got to say. If you've ever worked on one of these, you'll know how hard it is to actually get the studs out cleanly. Equate it to if you've ever worked on an LSs and head studs, as in manifold studs, snap all the time. There's always a broken manifold bolt in an LS head. It's like that. Right, so to get our adapter and manifold on, there should be 18 fasteners in the bag. So let's separate them out into their various groups. So we've got long ones, we got short ones, and we have the recessed ones. So 6 Allen key, recessed, 6 long studs, and then 6 shorter studs. And then there should be 12 nuts here. So there's 4, there's 4. Look at that. Perfect. And because we're going into an alloy head, we're going to use our good friend anti-seize. So that's going to go everywhere. All right, so the way this is going to work is long ones on the bottom, and we use the short end of the stud. So short end of the stud goes into the head. That's pretty self-explanatory. Now, what's going to happen at the other side is bolts go into the head and studs go into the plate. That should be pretty simple. All right, well, I guess let's drag out our gaskets. So we'll need 2 sets of gaskets. We need one for the head side and one for the manifold side. Head side will have to be an AU gasket. Manifold side will have to be a BABF gasket, which we have both of them here. So we have brand new AU gasket there, 2-piece arrangement, and then a 1-piece BABF style gasket, which will go like so. So let's make it so. It's not especially hot today, but it is very humid. I am sweating my ring out here in the shed today. It was really hot yesterday. It was kind of like 33 or thereabouts, which is quite warm. Might have even been warmer. It was pretty damn warm, I've got to say. But today it's wet, which is why we're back here in the shed. And hot and wet, it's not very pleasant. Feels a lot like Georgia, I've got to say. I don't think of it being anywhere as humid as that. I must admit, I've never been to Southeast Asia, and I believe that is off the chain. But yeah, Georgia, whew. Wow, that place gets very humid, very wet. I don't think I've ever been rained on like I have there. That is a story for another time. Let's get these studs in. Right. One last look before it goes on. That's a thing of beauty. All right, here it goes. Plate is on. Okay, now we need to screw in our other studs and we'll get that manifold on there. Should be pretty simple. Right, we'll screw them in. Okay, down we go. That. Nice. Now that we've got our manifold loosely bolted on, I'm going to look at putting a turbo on. So our turbo in this case is this Max Peating Rods GT35. It has a 0.63 rear housing on it, which is really small. It's going to come on boost really quick. Normally a XR6 turbo will have a 106 like this one here. This one actually has a wastegate fitting already welded on, and it's actually the right size for our wastegate. So I'm going to have a look to see if I could put this housing on it. I mean, if it fits with the turbine wheel we have, that would be amazing, because then we can just bolt our wastegate to there and we have a housing that's more correct for this size of turbo and engine. Could I get that lucky? I doubt it. But anyway, let's have a look. I've got to undo it anyway to clock the housing so the oil drain faces downwards. At the moment, if the turbo goes on like that, which is the way it sort of sits in the engine bay, that's the drain hole there, so that's got to be clocked in that direction. So let's loosen it off. Okay, so that is that. Slide it out, put that aside. It's not looking good. So when the wheel is sitting in that housing, there's like a mil of clearance on around the turbine wheel. So with this housing on, it's more like 2.5 to 3 mil of clearance. I'll give you a look. Well, bugger, I was hoping that was going to work. I wasn't counting on it, but I was just hoping, because it would have saved us some dramas. You know, because these housings aren't worth a lot. We bought a couple of turbos way back in the day and gave them to a turbo place to recondition. They threw them both in the bin, which gives you an idea where they valued them at. So, you know, it wouldn't have been much added to the budget for that. And it would have been handy because it's already modified for a wastegate. However, we can do the same thing with this. So what I might do is go see our mate Ben at Top G Fab and get him to weld directly to that turbine housing, all right? And that way we mount our wastegate directly off that, vent the gases as soon as possible, so that way we can slow down the turbine speed if it starts getting a bit spicy. So that would be the plan there. But we're going to have to stay with this turbo in its current form. So I'm going to put the rings back on them, reattach, and we'll clock it and we'll get it on the manifold, and let's have a look at it, see how it sits. Now, you may have noticed I have only loosely bolted on that manifold for the moment because I wasn't sure where this was all going. So for all I knew is we'll, you know, pulling it off and modifying the manifold, which I didn't really want to do either. I'd rather keep it in its natural form. to rotate it around a bit more, aren't I? Well, let's do this very carefully because I don't think this is going to react well if I drop it on anything. Alright, for starters, that is going to have to move, okay. Whew. Right. Okay, so I've got a little clearance issue. Compressor housing is just hitting up against a bolt that's poking through here. Not really sure what the bolt is for, but yeah. So we shall have to resync that. And that bolt right there. So the bolt in question that's causing me dramas is one of the bolts that holds the bracket for the top A-arms. So I can't remove it. Yeah, it's kind of needed. But it does beg the question, can I flip the manifold the other way up and do it that way? Let's have a look at that. Okay, let's try this. Okay. Well, if this works, maybe we're going high mount after all. Okay, put you on there. Well, there's no doubt it is more than slightly ridiculous. Not really my intention at all. However, the water reservoir up the top here, the header tank, it fits. So, is it that silly? I mean, we're going to have to put some heat protection there, otherwise it's just going to melt that. You probably need to put some heat protection on this side, keep some heat out of that compressor housing. But, yeah, maybe this is the way it's going to go. Means it's going to go out the bonnet, which was not my intention. Pretty cool for the internet though. Yeah. Yep. Wow. It's just ridiculous. All because of a bloody bolt. I think part of it is, you know, because obviously the adapter moves the whole manifold off to the side. I don't know about, you know, whether it's this turbine housing as well on this turbo, because I mean these turbos are not made for these cars, whereas, you know, this housing is made for this car. Well, certainly this engine bay. I mean the BAs and BFs basically have the same engine bay as the AUs, so yeah, I mean, could be that this would have fit and that one doesn't. I don't know. I don't know. But do I care? I mean, if we've got to go out the bonnet, so be it. I'm not going to cry about it. All right, well, we have a turbo on the AU. Is it sensible? No. Is it very Scotty? Yes, it's very Scotty. Does it work yet? No, but it will. It will. And you're going to see that somewhere in the future on Scottys Garage. Hey, whoa! Before we finish up this episode, I just realised we have not done our monthly draw for our monthly prize for our super fans. This month it is for this King Chrome Advent calendar, which is awesome. All right, so let's draw that right now. Okay, shake the box. All right, not looking in the box. Swirly, swirly. So we've got about 100 names in the box. So we've got about 100 super fans. And there we go. We have a name. So the odds are pretty good. Who is our winner? Okay, it's Mr. 370 HSSV. I'm guessing Luke is his real name based off his email address, but I'll just hide his email address and then so you can see. I don't know if you can actually read that. But anyway, I will contact Luke and inform him about our prize, and he'll get that shortly in the mail. But next month, it's Christmas, you know, it's December, so it's going to be Christmas. And being the Christmas draw, it's going to be a major draw, so big prize draw. The thing is, I had already bought the Christmas draw, and then someone came to me and said, I'd like to donate some money to make your Christmas draw even bigger, but I'd already bought the draw. But through the magic of Black Friday sales, I could duplicate the draw for the money that he donated. So we're going to have two prize draws for Christmas, and they're going to be the same. So we have this 76-piece gear wrench socket set. Look at it. And a set of gear wrench ratcheting spanners. All right. And I've got another set there as well. Look at it. That's right. You're not seeing double. Oh, Jesus. These things are beefy. What an awesome set. All right. So we've got two of these to give away. That's right. You can see them over here on the car. There is two sets. Two sets exist. Oops, sorry. Two sets exist. So we're going to be giving away two prizes for Christmas. So to be in the running for that, you have to be a signed up super fan on the Scottys Garage Patreon. So yeah, jump on, sign up, and you could be a recipient of one of those. They're $440 each value, okay? That's what they will cost you normally away from Black Friday sales, but $440 each set. That's pretty good. So two sets, and like I said, at the moment we've got about 100 super fans. So yeah, your odds are pretty good. Jump on, sign up, become a super fan today, and you could win one of those cool gear wrench sets. Anyway, we'll see you next episode.